Steve Patterson will do our invocation.
Heavenly Father, thank you so much for allowing us to gather here today as Lions and friends. We appreciate everything that you do for us. We praise you and your efforts at keeping us strong in our desire to help everyone in the community. We do this all in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen.
Bob Piper. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Psalm 3. And 3 'tis the sweet wind of liberty of the eyes. Land where my fathers lie, land of my pilgrim pride. From every mountain side, let freedom ring. Oh, there's Pat.
Need more altos. Too many bass.
Pat.
Too many bass, not enough altos.
Lloyd, I'd like to make a motion that he never starts. I'm sorry, John, I bet that was really funny. What was it?
President Lloyd, fellow Lions and guests, I'm just making a motion that he never starts America.
Actually, I'm sure that Hal in his sailboat in the middle of Columbia cringed on that one. That was really, truly epic. Mr. President, what would you like us to do?
You're on.
We're up?
Yep.
Okay, you want to play?
And this microphone here, just push this
Want
to
to
the light.
play?
Couple
Anybody got any happy bucks?
Okay. Push it to start it,
Cindy's
push
got
it to
happy
stop
bucks.
it.
Somebody who left Las Vegas with a that you went down with?
A little bit. President Lloyd, fellow Lions and guests, I first have an apology dollar because I had to cancel my appearance at the Squirrel Fest because of dizziness. But on the happy side of things, Jim and I had a blast in Vegas. We ate very well. And I said, you know, I think I gained weight on this trip. He goes, you only had proteins. You haven't done anything. So I stepped on the scales this morning and yeah, no, I didn't gain any more weight. But I did put forth the effort. I gotta say that duck we had for you, those of you on Facebook, it was so well worth the wait and Jim's money. And then we went to Caesars and they had a great seafood dish. I mean, I just ate really well. The weather was nice, there was no rain. And I came back with some serious money.
That's great to hear that somebody can. And you can notice, everybody, I've lost lots of weight.
Yeah, Pat.
Wait till you hear my happy bucks, Skip. It is going to make you laugh. Hi, Skip.
President Lloyd, fellow Lions and guests, I have a remember when dollar. Remember when we had the Sylvan Learning Center and there was this guy that ran it for a long time who was at the rodeo event with Brightline this weekend, and I had a mom write a note to me about how, and thanking me and us, our team at Sylvan, for helping her daughter become more successful at school, to the point that she was one of the designers of the Brightline Western thing. And because of the scholarship that the Lions Club gave to her, she was able to come to my place for a lot longer than the scholarship, but it all worked out. I was really excited to hear about how she's doing, and you guys made a difference, and I'm proud of you for that.
How are you doing, partner? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, no. know it inside and out. I was feeling a little sad for the bush you fell into, though, because I imagine. See, it was also my high school reunion this weekend, and I was the MC on Friday night. And I got to tell you, I went to school with some slender, athletic, wonderful-looking people that all turned into fat old slobs just like me. I am telling you, I looked across that room and I thought to myself, who the hell are you? Are you Mary or are you Harry? Oh my God! Some of those people.
The old people were there.
Yeah, that happened to me too.
It was my 51.
We had a number of incredible things that occurred. Unfortunately, the in memoriam part was kind of tough for everybody. I did it a little different this time. We had lists of who had passed on the tables for everybody to read. And I said, you know what, we're going to do a little bit different. I want you to not look at the piece of paper. I'm going to sit back here and I'm going to look at the piece of paper and I want you to name them off. 70 people in our class of 449 have passed. They named all but 4 out of memory. So that was pretty cool. So we ticked off the last 4. And then we would find out on Monday that we lost one during the reunion.
Well, I thought I was going to die.
I thought you were too. I really did. Apparently, yeah, there you go. So I didn't mean to, come down with a total bummer about the high school reunion, but totally, what an excellent time. Wonderful folks that I was able to go and hang out with, and it makes a difference. So go to your reunions, people.
Yeah.
How about you, Walt? Actually, you can't go to your reunion, can you? The Wild West High School was burned down, wasn't it?
Are you going to let him get away with that?
Thank you. President Lloyd, fellow Lions and guests, Pat, I have one question for you, or maybe a couple. How many years have you belonged to Lions now?
Well, 30, yeah.
In 30 years, you have never found out yet who moved your cheese.
Oh, you newbies don't know what's going on, but that really means that Walt thinks I'm dumb. How about mine, Mark?
President Lloyd, fellow Lions and guests, the first dollar is, some of you may recall, a month ago I got to meet my brother for the first time, my biological brother. Well, he's being recruited for a position in Central Oregon, so he called me and I went and spent the weekend with him in mostly Redmond and Bend for the weekend, so that was very happy. Second is commemorating the birthday of one of our tail twisters whose birthday is tomorrow, so let's all remember that, right? Who would that be, Isla?
Sweet 69.
Tom, could you start us off on that one?
They never sing on tune.
Thank you for singing nicely, Dad.
I just love that tradition. Lion Steve.
Stand up, Steve.
That's because you can sing.
Could you do that again?
That's so...
President Lloyd, I'm sorry to say we have a developing criminal in our midst. You better explain yourself, Larry.
President Lloyd, Lions and guests. Well, as an ice cream wagon was preparing to head back to the shop, we left a string of cups behind us. And followed by a blue light from the Longview Pioneer saying that we had a problem.
Oh, my goodness.
But we survived, so.
Man. All I heard about Squirrel Fest was all the fights.
Did the cops cops pick them up for you, at least?
Hey, Brad, I gotta see you, buddy. Hey, Marilyn.
Former past district.
Oh, yeah. President Lloyd, fellow Lions and guests, this is a happy dollar. It was a great weekend. We had the pleasure of working the Squirrel Fest and then going to the Expo Center, and reference to what Skip was saying about the mom that came up, and I had the pleasure of suggesting she write that note because she wasn't there yet. And I just couldn't believe the set. What was that called? The Right Line? Our Town, right? Our Town. Put up a set. If you stood out there, you could feel like you were in a movie because it was a complete Western town with every possible building, you know, the saloons, what else, the places, the hotel, all there, yeah.
Yeah, we know that.
Anyway, that's enough of this program.
Ryan
They
came.
spend a lot of money.
Yeah, they did. Every year.
Yeah.
Mr. Ryan.
King Lion Lloyd, fellow Lions and guests. I have a happy dollar because I got up this morning. That's it.
Oh, you know. Oh, Leroy, you look like you got one. Oh, Lion John, oh, you're deferring to the aged.
I love the recognition. Yes, President Lloyd, fellow Lions and guests, I have two happy dollars. I'm remembering a couple of gems when I joined this club. One of them was Jim Fowler, who always told you Fowler by name and Fowler by nature. That guy could do, he put on a fantastic acrobatic show at the age of 95. I was just on. The other's Jim Kircher, 100, I think it was 105, and I still remember looking out of my office window at the hotel and watching him walk over in the park with his cane flipping up every step. Fantastic men. And here I am at a club meeting for the first time with my hearing aids. And it was going to be a happy dollar, except that Tom started the song and we had to sing happy. Bad news.
That means you heard it. Okay, finally heard it. You want to go next? All right, thanks, Leroy.
He's got different files. Past President Lion Leroy, he had a 1 and then picked up a 5, so he must have remembered something.
Yeah, but it wasn't changed. I'll take 3 back. That's cheap. So, everybody's
on vacation next week.
King Lion Lloyd felt to guess, yes. Everybody's talking about, well, used to last reunions, and so what day was it? I don't know. God, they're all blurs. Anyway,
It's the drinking.
it's a drinking, yeah. Drinking play from the 90s all high school. Anyway, played at Ari Long's class of 72, and the place was packed. It was over at the Moose Lodge, and the place was packed. And I tell you, hang on, Skippy. As we're going, we set up the set so that we would start off a little quiet so that people could talk and everything. By the time we were done with our first song, they were all up dancing, and they danced for the rest of the night. It was crazy. Wow, people your guys' age were up there going crazy. So anyway, there you go. My other happy dollar, which is in there, is going to be taken off here real soon. Going to go to Disneyland. Melissa and I are going to be down there till next week. It's going to be the first time ever that the two of us have gone down there just by ourselves, no kids or anything. It's going to be great.
Your food bill will be 70% less. Yeah.
Yes, but they don't give me a microphone.
We're sorry we gave you one here.
Long Street when you stood up, like.
Lion White Park.
King Lion Lloyd,
guests. Get an information dollar. I got a call from Ron Stoppler just before we left for the meeting. A week or so ago, and I was talking to him, he was talking about how good his heart procedure helped him. Well, today he said it's not working. So he's got an appointment with the cardiologist Thursday. Also, just quickly, in reference to Cindy's trip to Las Vegas, I've always heard it's easy to come home with a small fortune, not with a big one.
Greg Furtick. President Lloyd, fellow Lions and guests. I guess a real quick comment on these reunions. Yesterday I took my mother down to Long Beach to see her youngest brother. Anyway, she attended her last reunion. It was like an all-school reunion. It was her second reunion. No, I take it back. It was her 80th reunion. And she was the oldest one there. I couldn't figure it out. Anyway, my dollar is an observation dollar. Saturday, had a wonderful time working over there at Squirrel Fest. And the second shift in the ice cream wagon, our newest member, Allison, was working with Dick Sorensen. Well, kinda. That nice lady back there. Anyway, Allison did all the work, and I couldn't figure it out. Wow. I know the feeling. No questions there. Fine, Terry.
Terry Woodruff, Park, whatever I was. Key Lion, Lloyd, fellow Lions and guests. I have a happy dollar. I worked over there at the old thing, OK Corral on Saturday, Sunday over there. Quite a deal that I was in the new chuck wagon. And let me tell you that if you work that thing, don't be the hot dog person. Because you have to help Patterson figure out who gets the order, and then pass them on down the line for them to make the order. And then I think I was also the runner too, I think. But anyway, it was a great time. It really worked fairly well. I enjoyed it, and as long as Louis is there to make sure that the alarms don't go off and we have water and everything, it works out great.
Right on. Any more happy about? Here we go. Oh, sorry. Hi, Reed, how are you, sir?
President Lloyd, fellow Lions, honored guests. I put 10 happy dollars in because I did get to see the new wagon in action for the first time. And I wanted to notice, everybody noticed that the person who got the first burger, now Louis, you can confirm this, that it looked like the person who got the first burger from that wagon sitting in the back, Bob Piper.
Right on.
And he complained about it. Didn't finish it.
So, all of us old Lions are wondering, was there a pop lid on that burger? Was it a good inaugural burger? We used to do some fun stuff, didn't we, Skip? Yeah, let's take that burger out, put 7 napkins in there and cover it with cheese. Yep, that's the one that Rick first got. You betcha. Not seeing any more happy dollars all the time.
All right, we're done.
Ladies and gentlemen,
It's your turn,
Mr.
Lord.
President.
All right.
Turn it off.
Okay. Okay, Kurt's not here, so our guest speaker today is Scott Vydra. I say it right?
Close enough.
Yeah, okay.
Hello. Thank you. Kurt had invited me today to talk briefly about one of my occupations. I'm a licensed FFL dealer, means I get to legally sell firearms. Background, I moved to Longview in 2004. Moved up here from sunny San Diego because I was tired of the warm weather and traffic. My wife and I stayed, started a family, and we've been here ever since. Acquired pet spawns and imports in 2005. I'm not here to convince you about gun laws one way or the other, but I would like to try to educate folks. I'm going to hand out some forms that are required to purchase firearms. And thank you. So there's a perception that you can walk into a gun show and purchase a firearm and walk out without any paperwork. That is false. Maybe 20, 30 years ago you could do that. Matter of fact, a lot of you guys probably bought your firearms from friends at the mills or coworkers. November 2018, that law changed. You are now required to transfer firearms through a licensed firearm dealer. You can give them to family members, blood relatives, but you're not supposed to sell to the public. And there's probably a rational reason for doing that, making sure that criminals don't get a hold of guns. If you notice that there are a lot of questions that the federal government asks, that form a FFL dealer has to hold for the entire time that we're in business. And after we shut our doors, we put those forms in boxes and we send them to the ATF. And they keep those forms forever. There is no licensed registry of guns, but it is amazing that the ATF can call up and say on November 4th, you sold a gun, can you get us a copy of that form, please? And we are required within a day to locate that form and send it off to the ATF. So, November 2018, Initiative 1639 says that all gun transfers need to go through a federal firearms licensee. It also says that you have to wait 10 days to receive your gun. That affects pawn shops differently because, for instance, when Eric's credit line runs out, he comes and sees me at the pawn shop and he brings his guns in, they're his guns. But when we take those in, we put them into our logbook. They're transferred into our book. Now, when Eric pays off his loan and wants his guns back, he has to fill out that paperwork in front of you and wait for 10 days. Even though it's his legal property, he's given up his right to us, and he has to do a gun background check before he gets that firearm back. One of the other, well, let's see, 1639, gun transfers, 10-day waiting period. Previous to 1639, you could go to the sheriff or police department and get a concealed carry permit. That concealed carry permit, they did your fingerprints, they did a background check, and that permit was good for 3-4 years, and every 3-4 years you had to reapply. You could take that permit, go into a gun store, and the assumption is you can legally own a firearm, so you fill out the paperwork and we release the firearm to you. But under 1639, that assumption that you can legally own a firearm has gone away. Have a concealed carry permit or not, you still have to wait 10 days to pick up the firearm. Now, it's a 10-day wait for pistols and semi-automatic rifles. The Ruger 1022 here, semi-automatic rifle. This Ruger 1022 is treated no differently than the AR-15. It's a semi-automatic rifle. This happens to have a pistol grip and a forearm grip, and the 1022 can have a 30-round magazine. Now banned in the state of Washington. It's not banned for you to own it. We can no longer legally sell it. If you own them, you can keep them. You're not allowed to leave the state and buy more, come back with more. 10 round is the max capacity, which really doesn't make sense. This is a California compliant AR-15. It is a pump action AK-47. Can you hold this? Just like a shotgun. So as fast as you can pump that, you can empty your 10-round magazine. Eric and his line, maybe more so the bank managers and people in financial businesses are taught to be observant when they go home at night. Be aware of home invasions, because at one point bank managers were at risk of being home invasion and kidnapped. Unfortunately, that has taken on to jewelers, people in my line of work. There was recently a jeweler in Atlanta that they put a tracking device on his car. 1 o'clock in the morning, 10 guys piled out of a minivan and kicked in his front door. Luckily for him, he didn't live in a state that had a 10-round capacity requirement, and he was able to repel those 10 individuals from his house and defend his life. And you can assume that they weren't there to sell him any Amway or Avon products. I don't know that I'm an advocate for people getting panicked and buying a firearm to defend themselves, but there was an incident 6 months ago in West Longview where there was a woman in her home with minor children. I think she had a baby even, and some guy hopped up on drugs, started pounding on her window, and she felt her life was threatened, and she had a pistol and took that into her own hands because the police were not there in a timely manner. So, you know, you have to determine that risk. If you're going to own a firearm and you're going to pull that firearm out, you're going to take on liability when you use that. Sort of skipping all around. Anybody have any questions maybe, or something I skipped over?
If she dragged him in the house, is that rule still?
So the threat is, do you fear for your life, or are you defending the life of another? So they say that if I was to put a stop to somebody lethally, I can anticipate spending $40,000 defending myself. Legally, defending yourself. So, you know, people go, well, why do you need a 30-round magazine? How many of us have cars that go faster than 75? Whoever speeds. I mean, you're not supposed to. It's a toy, it's something that's fun. It's no more or less lethal than an automobile. I believe that you have responsibility. You pick that rifle up, you have a lot of responsibility as to where that bullet ends up. So there was another question over here.
You said you had to have a waiting period on the semi-automatic rifle?
Semi-automatic rifle or pistol, 10 days.
Is a M1A, which is an M14.
Yep.
That qualifies as a
Semi-automatic rifle.
How long has that been in effect where you had to have a 10-day waiting period?
So state of Washington, November 2018 is when that initiative passed.
Because I saw one in Kennewick, and the guy walked it out to my car. And I bought it.
Not saying everybody plays by the same rules. I'm just telling you.
Prior to 18.
Yeah, if it was prior to 18. So prior to 18, there was no waiting period. A matter of fact, even today, there are gun dealers in town that you fill out the paper. You come into me, you fill out the paperwork. We send it into the police department. They're efficient that day, and they send it back the same day and say, you're good to go. You can leave with the gun. Some sellers will call you up and say, you've been released. We've had an audit every 4 years. It's an interesting audit. The ATF comes in. I have two different inventories. I have inventory for sale, and I have inventory that's in pawn. They come in and they check my inventory log, and they match every firearm with the serial number to my log. Matter of fact, I don't know if any of you were aware that Bob had some firearms stolen. Okay, so they kicked in the windows, they walked in and stole some guns. Within 48 hours, the ATF was at Bob's, and what they did is they said, you're missing some guns. You know you're missing some guns, but we want to know exactly what you're missing. So they had an inventory audit. Every single gun had to be accounted for. So I have pawn guns, guns that are on loan. Same thing. The ATF has the ability to walk into my pawn guns and match those to my inventory list to make sure that they match up. A matter of fact, you as a private citizen have a 48-hour rule. If you cannot find, locate, or believe your gun has been lost or stolen, you have 48 hours to report it to the police. And if you don't, then you are responsible for what happens with that. Rick?
So if you give a gun away, let's say I've had a gun for 30, 40 years, and I give it to my son.
You gave it to a blood relative, you're fine.
You don't need to fill out paperwork?
But blood relative, close family. Think of it in this way, though. You're on the paperwork for that gun. Is it going to go down the road where it's going to get misused and crack you? 15 years of being in the pawn business, dealt with 2 stolen firearms, and the police officer said, you ask enough people, you can figure out the last guy, and he acquired it wrong. So, guns do show up eventually. Yes?
Speaking of that, I think it was recent legislation that was passed that okay, so I own a gun. We have the gun safe. If somebody breaks into our house, steals my gun, and shoots somebody, that I'm liable?
Yes.
How wrong is that?
I agree with you 100% because that gentleman in Atlanta who was having his door kicked in, yes, he had plenty of time to walk over to his gun safe, open up his gun safe, while 10 guys armed with guns were kicking in his front door. Yeah, if you have something to protect yourself, it's not rational. Next, in my opinion. Yes, sir.
I just have to lodge a general complaint of something that's horribly wrong with the state of Washington, Scott. And that is the fact that the Puget Sound area can shove stupid legislation down our throat like this, where the beginning gun for every kid I've known, all of my sons, is the 1022 Ruger or Marlin, whatever. And here it is rated the same as a AR.
So Kurt and I were having this discussion, which is why I believe I got invited. So recently there was a Supreme Court decision that recognized that your Second Amendment rights are primary rights, not secondary rights. Your right to free speech is primary. You are not required to go to City Hall to pay for a permit to protest, right? So therefore, the way that this most recent Second Amendment ruling came down is you have a constitutional right to own and bear arms. We have a lot of laws on the books that are either legal or illegal that will slowly be challenged, and I believe that we're going to see a lot of these challenged. What California did is, California said you own something larger than 10 rounds, you own a 20-round magazine, you are now a criminal. And that made an entire class of people criminal. What Washington did is they said, this is the max, and I, as a retailer, can no longer sell or transfer this. We had to call up every one of our clients that had guns in pawn and say, you have a high-capacity magazine that's defined by the state of Washington. You need to come down and pick up your magazine because we can't give it back to you when you pick up your gun. I mean, that's like the bank saying, we'd love to sell you that car, but those tires are rated for 140 miles an hour, and so we can't sell you that car with those tires. So, it's not going to make sense always. Yes, ma'am.
The 10-day waiting period. Can you give the purpose of that?
Well, the fear is that you have been abused by your spouse, and you're panicked, you want to defend your life, and you're going to run down and buy a gun so you have it to defend yourself. Therefore, there's now a cooling off period. You have to wait 10 police days, which excludes police holidays. But you can't buy a rifle. You can't buy a bolt-action rifle and walk out the same day, so you just have to be a little further away when you shoot them. Yes, sir.
He's a small target.
There was a question, why does somebody have to have a high-capacity magazine? Because they're a bad shot.
Yes, yes. I think the the joke goes, the little old lady was in front of the judge and he said, "Why didn't you shoot that person 10 times?" And she said, "I ran out of ammo." So. Any other questions? I do believe that if you are interested in buying a pistol, go to a gun range, learn how to use it. A lot of people under COVID got paranoid with some of the things that were going on, bought pistols, they're sitting in drawers. A lot of those are slowly getting returned because they've decided they don't want them or not certain how to use them. I'm a definite proponent of education. It's important. Yes, ma'am.
You recommend a local gun range?
Well, yes, over by Walmart. I forget what that one's called, the newest one in town.
The Walmart on 7th Street?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Behind that, they've got an indoor range, and then the county has an outdoor range. Castle Rock. So, I honestly am a proponent of, there's a gal for women. There's a gal that has an indoor range, female-owned, in Jansen Beach.
Really?
So, women shoot handguns differently than men.
Well, it's because they're smaller.
And I believe being taught by a woman is a difference. She explained it to me once. For a woman to grip a handgun, you grip that gun like you're going to drive on ice. Death grip it. Because women have a problem of limp wristing. And if you do that with a pistol, it'll stovepipe. The bullet will not, or the cartridge will not exit the bullet, and your gun will malfunction.
I actually went to a class in Rancho Murrieta in California, and it was just for women, and it was taught by a woman, and it was the best class I ever went to.
No, I definitely, like I said, proponent of education. It's important. You know, I heard a comment, well, I'll make something that's interesting. First of all, Mexico has the same gun rights. Mexican citizens have the same gun rights we do, except there's only one place legally to buy ammo in Mexico. That's through the Army in Mexico City. Yet they have a huge gun problem down there. So banning firearms, a Mexican citizen can own up to a .38. They're not allowed to own anything more powerful than the police do. So our Constitution is viewed differently than theirs, even though they legally, technically have the same rights, which I think is interesting. In Israel, the Israeli military, there is an armed Israeli military on every school bus and in every school. Now granted, they live in a little different society than we do, but is it a bad thing? Maybe not. I was going to say something else, I can't remember. I'm getting too old to hang around too many old people.
You're doing good until that moment.
I've been giving one of my guns to my grandson over in Hawaii. And, you know, I mean, it's nothing from an airplane over there here, take over, but within 3 days, they got registered there.
Correct. Keep in mind, states' rights. So state of Hawaii has said, yes, you can own that, but we want a registration. We want to know what you have when you have it. So, you know, each state's a little different. You can walk off the plane in Alaska and go buy a gun.
Yeah, over there, you don't have to have a hunting license or nothing.
Hawaii or Alaska?
Hawaii.
Okay. Really? I thought they're pretty strict on their licensing. So.
Hey, you don't have chickens again? You don't even have to have a fishing license. It's free.
You know, I'll stick around for a little while. If anybody has an interest in seeing any of these, be happy to share them. Otherwise, thank you very much for having me.
Anything you want to say, Kurt?
Sure. Scott, sorry I'm late. I was stuck in court. I told you guys last week about my court conflicts on Tuesdays.
Anyway, today's speaker, as you guys met, is Scott Vydra. He is the owner of Pets, Ponds, and Instruments on Commerce. He is a former city councilman, and I've known Scott for a long time. So I'm sure you guys gave Scott a warm welcome, and I appreciate that. And for being late, I got $5 for being late. And now spilling drink.
Another $5.
Yeah.
All right, Scott, we're going to give you a mug and an application to join the club.
Thank you, appreciate it.
The rest of us old people here.
Thought that was a secret group.
All right. Yeah, we have a board meeting Thursday, early, a.m., not p.m. So it's right here at the Eagles Building, 8 a.m. Board meeting, executive board meeting Thursday. You ever hear that? Sharon?
On September 13th, we are having President Lloyd, fellow Lions and guests. On September 13th, we will be having a sock hop, and it's going to be at the Elks over at Longview Elks. And I have tickets on sale. I have them here today. They're $20 each. Or if you wait till the door, they'll be $25. I have some sign-up sheets over there for some help with decorating, cleanup, and everything. And also, if anybody knows the Heads and Tails game, if you would be willing to maybe run the Heads and Tails game at the sock hop, I would love to talk to you afterwards.
Terry. Sharon, give it one bring to Terry.
You through, Sharon? And anyway, King Lion, Lloyd, fellow Lions and guests. Believe it or not, I have a golf tournament going on Saturday. What? Believe it? Yeah. And it's August 27th. And if you're tired of selling kettle corn or hamburgers and stuff like that, if you want to just sell tickets, raffle tickets, and stuff like that, you can come see me. I need 7 people to help me out, basically from 9:30 till noon at the latest. So it's a short shift, I can say that. And I need some help, let's face it. We do have about 10 teams down there, got it full. I think we've got 9, which was close to 10. And so at any rate, it's very nice. The money from this thing goes to scholarships. So it's not just going into my pocket or yours. It's going to Sandy Cat and her scholarship people. Unless Skip gets a hold of it, and then it might go back to somebody that wants to get, say, thanks a lot, Skip. At any rate, I went for her birthday. Sign-ups for your birthday? No. Oh, the money. Okay. Anyway, I need help, and it's over at the Mid Valley Golf Course. And if you want to come here and sign up here, I'll be here after the meeting because I have a awards committee meeting right after this now too. What time? They start, 10:30 is the first tee-off time, so if you're here about 10 or 9:30 somewhere ahead of time, we'd appreciate it. You'll do registration, you need to be able to read. But thank you. Also, I need the card reader or the card, get that out there, and obviously somebody that knows how to run it. You do? I'm sorry I said anything bad about you. Anyway, if I see you after here for the awards committee, that'd be great too. Thank you.
I I just have one more thing to add about the sock hop. As far as the tickets go, that if you would like to take some with you to try to sell them to your neighbors or your relatives or friends, just let me know and I'll get some to you.
Don, you want a ticket to sell to your friends?
Cindy.
President Lloyd, members and guests, this weekend is our club picnic. It's over at Tamil Shadow Park, 1 o'clock. We will be serving hamburgers and hot dogs and beverages, pop and water, that sort of thing. And we'll have games. If you have a game that you think people would like to play, come on over. Of course, we have 2 cornhole sets. So maybe we need another one, I don't know. But anyway, the Skinners won last year.
Angela Palmer's wife was a big winner.
So this weekend, Sunday, the 28th, 1 o'clock. Thank you. And to those who want to do there's an officer training this Saturday from 9 to 12:30. So if you want to sign up for that, let me know. I will send you the flyer to get signed up.
Isla, Louis?
Yes?
Louis.
Louis? Oh, sorry.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, that's what